Ky është episodi 5 i Speakeasy Podcast. Kam derën të kem ftuar Sava Shqutaj, e cila merret me investing dhe real estate. Sava, mirë se vjen në Speakeasy Podcast.
Faleminderit që keni ftuar.
Can you give us a bio of who you are?
Of course. So again, Sava Shqutaj, born and raised in Albania. I came here as a child, went to school for business management, and then got into life insurance. After life insurance, I got into the mortgage side of I got into mortgages, did mortgages for about 9 years. 2 years ago, I went independent. So now I actually help investors. So majority of what I do is everything that goes outside of your traditional forms of financing. I can still do it all, but most of my traditional financing or regular mortgages, I have a handful of referral partners that I send them to. So most of what I do now is just help with, new construction, ground builds, basically everything that doesn't fit into the traditional, way of financing a house where you go to a bank or a traditional lender.
How hard was for you to integrate in the American life?
Oh, how much time do we have?
I know you was born in Albania and you came here. Mainly the type of market you work in, it's mainly cutthroat. You have to be very energetic. You have to hustle in order to stay afloat. So what's your story?
Anytime you make such a drastic change, and I don't think we ever really get out of it, there's a different person that has to show up to the Albanian community, and then there's a different side of Sava that has to show up in the professional American, sphere. So I think it's a little bit of a balance without ever losing ourselves. But, to answer your question, you do have to build some thick skin. You do have to be able to go in and handle what you need to handle without losing yourself or our background and who we are. So it is a little bit of a balance. Like I said, there's a different version that shows up for the Albanian community because we have our standards, we have our culture, we have a certain way that we have to conduct ourselves, and sometimes it doesn't always align with how we have to show up professionally or in the more Western culture. So it's a little bit of a dual personality, if you will.
Was it hard for you to integrate? Because you probably did not start in finance or investing when you came here, and there was a leap forward to, where you have come to.
So my first job was a waitress on 6 Mile behind bulletproof windows, serving conies. That's where we all start, and you work your way out. And that's one of the things about being here. You have the opportunity to put your head down for a couple years, grind it out, and literally build a lifestyle that most people can only dream of. And there's not a lot of places. I've traveled, you know how it is back home, and I've traveled around the world, and there's not a lot of places that give us the opportunity that we have here. So I'm grateful for it. But again, it does take a handful of years of putting your head down, getting to work, and making sure that one, God is on your side, and two, that the ducks, everything aligns.
So has it been hard to sort of like traverse between finance? Now you're into investing.
Yeah. For me, it happened gradually, and it happened mostly because of our community. The reason I went with more non-traditional financing, or because a lot of our, especially with our community, most of them are business owners or have multiple sources of income. So they don't always fit into that perfect square box of, W-2 income, regular jobs, the income showing up the way it's supposed to. So I found myself referring a lot of this business out to people that were doing what I'm doing now. And eventually got to the point where it didn't make sense for me to keep going down that route. So that's why I decided to shift where my business and where my focus was. So it happened almost organically, but I enjoyed this side of it more just because I have a lot more flexibility. I can help more people, and I can structure the deal specifically around someone's needs versus making sure they check all the boxes, if that makes sense.
So, are you more directly connected to the building side of it, or more into the investing part of it, reaching investors, connecting to builders, and then it's...
So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, basically I can do everything that ties to an actual real estate property, to a dwelling. So whether you're building, the only thing I don't do is land. I don't have a lot of investing partners that cater to that market. So I can literally do everything from, rehabbing a home to building an entire complex. So wherever, whatever the need is, we can find the money for the deal. I have 130 different funding partners.
How has the Albanian, how has the Albanian community been to you? Meaning, is that where you started, where you first started as far as network goes, or you had to look elsewhere?
No, so I started with Rocket Mortgage. So I spent 6 years there, and they provided the clientele, so I didn't really have to go out and find my own clientele. But it was because of, again, the friends and family just within my inner circle that I wasn't able to help because of how their finances were structured, that I went out and looked for these other sources. I haven't done a really good job, truthfully, of letting my community know what I do until the last couple years, but I'm starting to build a lot more connections in our community. And they've been incredibly supportive. I think when, I don't know how to say this. I think the older generation had this mindset of like competing against each other, where our generation is more open to collaborating, coming together, sharing resources. So we all collectively grow together versus competing with each other. So I'm starting to see a lot more of that with this generation, and it's working out for all of us. So very welcoming.
So has it, looking back to when you came here to where you have, come up right now, would you say that you're in the successful percentage of the Albanian diaspora?
I mean, success is defined by the person that, how we see ourselves, there's always more that you can attain.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to measure. I think we all struggle a little bit with, I'm not doing enough. I could be doing more. There's opportunities I missed. I could have taken advantage of this. So there's a little bit of, I could be doing more, but sometimes it's important to take a step back, reflect, and see how far you've come. And every time I do that, and I'm trying to be more mindful of doing that on a consistent basis, I'm very grateful for where God has gotten me, because there's only so much I can do, and if it doesn't align with His will, sometimes you hit a wall, and I've also had that happen. But do I consider myself successful? And I'm very blessed. I've created a life for myself that I've always wanted, so I'm grateful for it. There's a ton more that I want to do,
No, I meant compared to other people your age. That the path of business you chose, it's different, and if you think long term, the return on the value, it's much more than on other types of business.
Yes.
So this way, I thought, do you consider yourself being successful? Do you have a group of network? I'm talking about the community. I mean, because that's where you start first, and
Yes.
then you grow to be a big company that probably a numerous amount of people might need your services.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, again, scaling is definitely the goal. As far as finding myself successful, I do have an incredible group of both referral partners, business partners, people that I work very closely with. And one of the lessons I learned the hard way is the importance of having the right people in your life, having the right circle of influence. We have that expression, and it's very true. Because if you have people who are constantly feeding negativity into you versus positivity and opportunities, it makes it a lot harder to grow. But again, right now it's just me. Three of my staff, two of them are overseas, so we're very small. But again, we're just getting started, so we haven't even scratched the surface of success just yet. As far as comparing myself to other people that are doing the same thing, I intentionally don't do that just because it doesn't matter. If I can add value to their business, I will. If they can add value to my business, we come together and work on deals. But as far as comparing myself, again, success is different. So everyone sees success a little bit differently. So I'm grateful for where I am, and I owe it all to God. But as far as what's next, again, the goal is to scale.
Do you? How connected are you with the community? Meaning outside of the business.
So my connection is more so on a personal level for the most part than it is on a professional level. Most of my business partners, referral partners, are still, Western cultures versus our Albanian community. Majority of it is more, our church, our more non-professional get-togethers. In the last year, I actually just recently started doing events where we have Albanian women come together, or professional Albanian women, majority in the real estate industry, that are coming together to work together. So we are working on growing that, and it's actually picking up speed pretty quickly. But like I said, I made the mistake of not putting myself in front of more people professionally in our community early on. So I had to kind of go back and, let people know what I do and the services I provide.
Where was the last event held?
Today.
Today?
Yes.
Okay.
So we hosted an event at one of my really close friends just recently acquired a salon. So we had the event at her salon. We had about 30 women show up. Ended up actually being a lot bigger than we anticipated. But it's just really cool to have just such incredible people come together and for a good cause, have some drinks, have some appetizers, and just enjoy getting to know each other as well as figure out where we can add value to one another's business.
Have you tried holding events since St. Paul's has a very large facility?
I haven't, like I said, the events.
To sort of upscale the event from 30, you can have 100 women come together and see if you can create a network and be a force on the professional side of it.
So I've contemplated it. I prefer to keep it small for the time being. Eventually, as it continues to grow, I don't know where this is going to go. It started off with just getting a handful of people that we needed each other to be able to close a deal, and that's how some of these relationships were built more organically than us doing it through an event. I think I want to prefer to keep it smaller for the time being, just because it's harder to build those relationships in larger rooms. We've all been to networking events. You collect a bunch of business cards. They end up in a drawer somewhere, and you never talk to people again. What we're doing is more intimate by design to allow people to get to know each other on a both a personal and a professional sphere.
No, I mean, I was talking
Yeah.
you being in front of a screen, holding a PowerPoint. I mean, being connected to these group of women that you're part of it, and you started to create. So that's why I mentioned the
Yeah.
church,
No,
since the church has the facilities. So
and at some point we will, but we need to build those relationships first and make sure, again, that there's alignment and there's opportunities in our small circle before we try to expand it out. So it's more about, the value versus just the numbers for me at this stage. As far as, what happens down the road, like I said, this is something we just started doing. But I do want to expand it and bring more people and allow, because I think as a community, we don't do a good enough job at working together. We do such a good job at showing up for, weddings, funerals, things that are a little bit more community-based. I think when it comes to working together professionally, we miss the mark a little bit.
so this is a critique.
Well, not necessarily.
I mean, yeah, it's a critique. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Us from inside are able to see it better than someone from the outside of the
Right.
culture. So where do we lack on working together? Where do we lack?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out, and that's why and that's why I started off with with our smaller circle, because I see what's happening just internally with our small group, and we've only been doing this for a couple months, but we're seeing so much connection and these professional relationships being built that work for everyone. So if we could do that as a community, I think we could grow significantly faster. I do feel, and again, I could be wrong. That's just been from what I've seen personally. We have a bit of a competition mindset where we all want to be leaders, where we struggle to come together to work for the greater good together. And again, I could be wrong. That's just a little bit of what I picked up. If we could do it on a larger scale, I think it would be incredible, and I think it would benefit everyone. For example, if there's a service I provide and every Albanian came to me, I would never have to go out to another, community, but we don't do that. And we have incredible professionals within our community, but we would rather, go outside.
Do they see it as a competition, or they see it as a way of not being able to work together at the same level?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know what it is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel there's a lot more opportunity for us to work together and utilize one another, share resources, collaborate on a vast majority of things, and we don't. So I don't know what the reason is behind it. It could go back to Enver Hoxha's time where we were all pinned against each other, so it could be a little bit of competition or a little bit of fear. I don't know what the answer is. But like I said, I've seen when we do come together, amazing things happen. So if we could do it on a larger scale, I think even more incredible things would happen.
So, talking about Albania too now, have you thought of doing any projects out there?
I would love to.
What do you have in mind? I mean,
Yeah.
I know you're busy, and this work of investing and getting new partners to invest in large upscale projects does take a lot of time.
It does.
But what have you thought?
So I go back to Albania almost every year.
Okay.
I spend at least almost a month there every year. I love what's happening there. The Albania I left versus the Albania now, Sinata Midrit, and they're two complete different worlds. And I see so much money going into it. I would love to do something there, but I also see it's becoming commercialized. I don't know enough about the market for me to, and I don't know the regulations. One of the fears, especially with Albania, is because you don't always know, even if you're doing it the right way and going through the legal process, if it's actually the legal process. And there's a little bit of an issue with, selling land that's not
True,
their,
that it's not
it's not
entitled to.
So I don't know enough about the market, and I don't have enough connections there to even take it under consideration. Just like all of our families, we have land back home that I would love to at some point do something with, but that's not something that I'm really considering at this phase. I have enough on my plate right now here.
So you want to stick more around here than being spread? No, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought since you have do you have two workers that work overseas? Do they work in Albania or they?
No, they're one is in India and the other one is in the Philippines.
Okay. So just like any other company, I mean, it's understanding.
Listen, sometimes you get a lot better workers that are a lot more cost efficient overseas. So everyone that handles my technology is in India, and then everyone that basically handles all administrative work is in the Philippines.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm talking about work concern. I mean, long-term goals.
I like this question. Thank you for the question. I don't plan 5 years ahead for a reason. Every time I used to be very scheduled, and I had a 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan, and then God would look at these plans and laugh. And I think 5 years is too long.
No, these are tentatively plans.
No, I get that. I don't plan 5 years out. I do more micro bite-sized plans, so I don't go past a year. So I have specific things that I want to do within the next 30 days, the next 90 days, and then a year. If I can accomplish all that, then I go back to the drawing board. So I'm more focused on smaller, tangible goals than where I want to be 5 years from now. Because in my experience, a lot can happen in 5 years, and it doesn't. Whenever I've tried to plan out for 5 years, it just never works out that way. Things actually always end up being better.
So it never crossed your mind to think?
It does. I mean,
yeah. What can happen in 5 years?
Again, like I said, I don't personally plan that far out. There's goals that I want to accomplish that are going to take longer than a year. But I can't plan for something that I don't know where I'm going to be.
Because I seen a video not too long ago. I don't recall the name of the person. He was talking about what's going to happen in 1997. He was talking what's going to happen in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And all the predictions, I don't know if he was part of the predictions,
Right.
but all the predictions he said in the video are true.
Okay.
So realizing, I know God laughs at the 5 year plan because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Very true.
Yes, but I'm looking more into the business part of it.
I get it. Like I said, there's goals that are going to take me a lot longer than 5 years. I just don't put a focus on that. I want to focus on things that I can control in the foreseeable future versus something that far out that I have no control over. Again, where I want to be in 5 years, if I do everything in the next, call it 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, then that will put me on to my 5-year plan. I don't do 5-year plans. I just think life changes way too often, and there's way too many factors that I can't control. And I also want to leave a lot of room for divine intervention if needed. So me personally, again, yes, there's things that are going to take me a lot longer than a year, but a year out is the farthest I go. So that's where I stand with as far as planning.
So does this work you do interferes with you having a family?
That's an interesting question. I would hope it doesn't, but I am single, so maybe it does. Obviously everyone wants a family and wants to find someone that they spend their life with. So I'm always open to finding the right person. But I think when you come from a mindset of, you don't need anything from a partner outside of everything that, money or, a financial stability can offer, it makes it a little bit harder because, men have no problem throwing money, paying all the bills, but when you're looking for that next level, it becomes a little bit more challenging. And I am very busy. There's something I need to be doing at every minute of the day. But it comes down to also planning, making sure that the people I care about always come first, and making time within my hectic schedule to make sure that the people in my life are taken care of and have what they need. But yes, it definitely does. It makes it a little bit harder. Sometimes men see me as competition versus potentially a life partner. So I know that exists. But I also, like I said, I leave a lot up to God. So as far as that goes, I wish I could give you a better answer. I think it does interfere a little bit. But I also believe that what's meant for you doesn't miss you. So that's where I am at.
Are you look at this point in the professional life? Are you looking more for investors, or are you looking more for projects since you have the investors?
So I have the capital. So
You have the
what I
capital.
do is basically I'm the middleman between whoever wants to build a project and the actual investors. So my job is literally, once you have a project or need capital or funding for a specific project, my job is to make sure that I get you to the right investor, and structure the deal where it's beneficial for my client and they're getting the cheapest money that they can for whatever they're looking to do.
And mainly are commercial projects, right?
Honestly, it's a combination of everything.
Okay. But what do you focus more on?
Well, again, right now my biggest focus is just getting my name and my brand in front of as many people as I can. As far as what I enjoy working on is more unique deals. So ground up construction. There's this trend right now with content creator homes where managers will buy these massive houses, and you can't get them financed through traditional means, and then they'll just have a bunch of different content creators that are, they have their podcast studios, they have their, it's a bunch of creators all under this one mansion, but none of them own it. It's a management company. So I've done a handful of those. I don't know. I love this line of work because every person who has to go outside of the regular, mortgage box, needs their own financing tailored to them. So that's my job, and that's where it gets exciting. So I don't have a specific niche that I focus on. I can do it all, so I don't limit myself. But for the most part, new construction is where I enjoy being part of it because it's a longer process. It's not just here's the funding, we're done in 30 days. With new construction, usually those projects take a little bit longer, so I'm more involved, and it creates more opportunities to build the relationships for the next project, or have, because our business
So
heavily.
it's like a chain event type of
Yes,
deal.
yeah, and then once you build those relationships, then eventually they're going to refer you, because the old saying, so investors usually have a lot of friends who are also, or builders have a lot of friends who are also builders, so it opens up those doors.
So what's your thought about podcasts? We're a new podcast in the Albanian community in Metro Detroit, or Michigan, you would call it, and we tend to showcase Albanian professionals
Okay.
that are part of the community. I mean, not necessarily they work with the community, but they're successful in their line of business.
Yeah. I think, it's interesting because, both social media, podcasting started off as something to do for fun. And I think we're all starting to realize that it has a lot of opportunity to get your name out there. Realistically, you can put a 30-second clip on the internet and the whole world can see it, if it hits the right algorithm. So I think it's a very powerful tool, especially if you have, different people telling stories. I think everyone's stories are very unique, and we need more voices within our community. I think we even need to have some of those conversations that we probably avoided within our community. So
Sure.
I love the idea of this. I know there's a few Albanians that are doing it within our community, and you're starting to see the success already. I think, anything that brings our community together or gets our voice out there, it's an incredible thing. And it's a powerful tool. Again, what else can you do where you can get your voice out around the world potentially and do it almost for free? So it's a powerful tool. And I think what you guys are doing is amazing.
Thank you. What I don't want to say, because it seems like a mission statement of a company, but what would be a message directed to, our community here, our followers that are not only Albanians but are Americans too?
Yeah.
So it starts from here, and it has probably the sky is the limit when it comes to followers and stuff. So what are your thoughts, and what's your message?
I think we all do it. We're really hard on ourselves. We're our worst critics. We want everything to be perfect. We want to present ourselves in a certain way. You go to our church, everyone looks like they're ready to go to a gala. I think the message that I had to learn the hard way, and I wish I would have learned this a little sooner, is don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay to not always come out perfect. It's okay to try new things and fail. It's okay to put yourself out there, again, obviously in a respectful manner, but, even turning on a camera and going live or creating content, we're so scared of doing even the simplest things because of judgment. I think, as long as you're okay with God seeing you do it, don't worry about other people. If you're okay with God seeing you do something, as far as other people, eventually, even the things that happen in private eventually make their way to light. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to take chances and put yourself out there. Again, sometimes it's not easy you got to start somewhere. And the more you overcome your fears, the more fearless you become. So I think my message is not to be so hard on yourself and not to be so critical of one another. I think we do a little bit of comparing, especially like with families and stuff. If we can get out of that mindset, I think we would be
Free.
not only we would be
free-minded, without prejudice.
Right. Again, like I said, my motto has always been, if I'm okay with God seeing me doing it, I don't really care about any human. So that's what I live by. Obviously everyone has their own
Motus vivendi, they call it
their
in
morals
Latin,
and standards
yes.
and things that they're not willing to step outside of, but don't be afraid to put yourself out there. When I started, because, I'm pretty heavy on social media. When I first started, like, even friends and family, would take my content and like, oh, the move on famous, that's
Yes.
and, there's always going to be negative voices. Don't focus on the negative voices. Focus on the people that are speaking life and positivity into you, because those are the people that matter. Everyone's always going to have something negative to say. Discard
Of course,
it. Let it go.
It's not a comment.
Right. It's not personal. There's probably 10 different versions of you that people know. Your friends know a different side of you. Your family knows a different side of you. Your wife knows a different side of you. The people you work with know a different side of you. Don't take it personal. It's not. Most people see a very small segment of who we are, not the actual big picture. So just be comfortable and be okay with not being perfect. You don't always have to just show the perfect side of you. People love a little bit of messy side of you too.
How can customers/investors reach you?
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
I do. So my company is VS Capital Group. All my social media is under my name, Sava Shqutaj, and I'll send you my contact information if you want to add it on. But yeah, my phone's always on me. My business line is pretty much across all my platforms, so I'm pretty easy to find. I'm actually the only Sava Shqutaj in the world, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Thank you, Sava, for being a part of the
Absolutely
5th episode of Speakeasy Podcast. We would like to see more of you and showcasing, everybody's success. It's a great joy for us and for our community and for the people that follow us on social media. So we do appreciate your time from your busy schedule and appreciate your hard work and your message.
Thank you.
To the community.
I think what you guys are doing is incredible. And again, anything that, I'm a big advocate for anything that brings our community together and gets our voices out there. It's huge. So I'm excited to see where you guys take this and if there's anything I can do to add value. You have my number. I'm a phone call away. But I'm excited to see where you guys take this. And I've already seen a few of your episodes, and you've had some incredible people already. So I know you guys are gonna take this to a level I don't think you've even realized yet. So I'm excited to see your journey. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sava. Ky është episodi 5 i Speakeasy Podcast. Shihemi në episodin e radhës. Faleminderit dhe natën e mirë. Thank you.